News 4 San Antonio at 6. We're here for you.
We also don't have a motive at this time.
New details on the school shooting in Nashville, how the shooter got in and who they reached out to just moments before killing 6 people. Good evening and welcome to News 4 San Antonio at 6. I'm Simone D'Alba.
I'm Jonathan Martinez. We do start tonight with newly released body cam footage showing officers confronting the suspect during Monday's deadly school shooting in Nashville. Tragically, 3 children and 3 adults were killed.
We do want to warn you that this video may be disturbing to some viewers.
This video was released today by the Metro Nashville Police Department. In it, it was captured on body cam cameras, that is, from the 2 officers who responded to the scene. They immediately entered the building and searched classrooms in an office. This was all on the first floor. And just moments later, well, they rushed up a stairwell and down a hallway towards the sound of gunfire. The officers then confront the shooter, Audrey Hale, who was standing in front of a large window in what appears to be an atrium in the school.
We've interviewed the parents of Audrey Hale, and we've determined that Audrey bought 7 firearms from 5 different local gun stores here legally.
Police releasing new video overnight of the shooter that shows how they got inside of the school. Here's Katie Beck with the latest on this investigation.
Overnight, police in Nashville releasing this chilling surveillance video showing the terrifying moments the shooter blasted their way into the small private Presbyterian school, shooting right through locked glass doors. The video also shows the armed person entering a church office and later stalking the halls with an AR-style weapon drawn, one of 3 firearms investigators say the shooter had.
We believe 2 of those may have been obtained legally, locally here.
Police calling the attack on the Covenant School targeted, adding the shooter left behind detailed plans of the deadly assault.
We have a manifesto. We have a map drawn out of how this was all going to take place.
Police identifying the shooter as 28-year-old Audrey Hale, who they say is transgender and was once a student at the school.
There's some belief that there was some resentment for having to go to that school.
Authorities say within 14 minutes, they were able to confront and kill the shooter, who fired at officers from a 2nd-floor window, but not before Hale fatally shot 3 children and 3 adults.
There's multiple victims down inside the school. Shooter is down now as well.
Authorities later searching Hale's home, finding 2 shotguns and other evidence as they investigate potential motives. Among the victims, the school's headmaster, Dr. Catherine Kuntz, 61-year-old substitute teacher Cynthia Peak, and 61-year-old custodian Mike Hill. The children, all just 9 years old, identified as Evelyn DeCos, William Kenny, and Hallie Scruggs, the daughter of the lead pastor of Covenant Church. Avery Myrick's mother was teaching in her classroom when the shooter opened fire.
She said she was hiding in the closet and that there was shooting all over and just that she loved us.
Many parents unsure their children would come home.
There were so many police cars and then the ambulances started coming away from the school.
President Biden ordering flags to fly at half-staff nationwide and urging Congress to pass a new assault weapons ban.
We have to do more to stop gun violence. It's ripping our communities apart.
While a group of new parents are now echoing a similar heartbreaking question.
How are our children still dying and why are we failing them?
In all, it took 14 minutes from the 911 call for help at the Covenant School there in Nashville to the shooter being neutralized. Nashville police are praising the actions of their response team, including officers Rex Engelbert and Michael Colazzo. They stopped the shooting suspect on the school's 2nd floor as the suspect fired shots at arriving officers through a window.
But I want to thank the fast response of our officers. Guns are quick. They don't give you much time. So even in a remarkably fast response, there was not enough time.
But we would never wait to make entry and to go in and to stop a threat, especially when it deals with our children.
Sadly, 3 9-year-old children and 3 adults were murdered before the shooter was ultimately killed.
The Nashville school shooting suspect gave a cryptic warning to a former classmate and basketball teammate minutes before the massacre. Averiana Patton says she received a direct message on Instagram from Audrey Hale that said she was, quote, planning to die today, and her family didn't know what she was about to do. Patton called the suicide hotline and the sheriff's office non-emergency line, but it was too late.
I just couldn't believe it. Like, I didn't expect to know that I did. I tried to reach out, not even knowing that it was her.
According to Patton's timeline, Nashville police received the active shooter call 1 minute before Patton connected with the non-emergency line. Patton says she isn't sure why Hale reached out to her.
President Biden continued today to call on lawmakers to enact federal legislation addressing the gun crisis here in the United States. Speaking on the White House lawn today, the president said he was already used his executive authority to address the issue.
I have gone the full extent of my executive authority to do on my own anything about guns.
And will you use the record? Are you...
Wait a minute. The Congress has to act.
Congress passed the first major gun safety legislation in nearly 30 years last June in response to the massacres in Uvalde and Buffalo, New York. President Biden signed an executive order earlier this month to expand gun background checks following the mass shooting in Monterey Park, California. Republicans saying not to expect any new gun control legislation.
In the wake of the Nashville school shooting, a retired military dad is getting a lot of attention for making military-grade bulletproof shields for schools. He says it's lightweight armor that may give teachers and staff peace of mind. So far, Billy Gibbons says the bulletproof shields are in over 20 independent school districts, and close to 300 schools have them hanging on a wall somewhere. Gibbons also says a public college system in Texas is now working with him, along with schools in New York, Pennsylvania, Oklahoma, and Florida.
I want to provide a safety product that is unknown to the children, makes the schools look better, makes the teachers feel better. The school security, of any volunteer security, they will have pre-staged bulletproof shields at the points of their choosing. So it's just more effective, and it's quicker, and it's safer.
Gibbons says the popular size for the shields are typically 16 by 20 inches and run between $20 to $1,600 each. Most schools order the shields with either their school logo and or the American flag on them.
Melissa Vega at the live desk happening right now. We are continuing to follow some breaking news for you on the city's east side, a reported shooting as we follow live pictures from that scene. This is happening along Mesquite Street, not far from South Hackberry. This is a very active situation at the moment. Police have an area of the street blocked off with crime scene tape. There are a number of officers on scene. Police Chief William McManus is there as well. He is going to start speaking any minute now. We're going to listen in and bring you an update in just a few minutes. That is the latest from the live desk.
All right, Melissa, thanks a lot for that. Happening right now, police are looking for this man, Benjamin Dominguez, who's wanted for indecency with a child by exposure, failure to comply with sex offender registration, along with other charges. If you have any information on his whereabouts, you're urged to call the Guadalupe Crime Stoppers at number 877-403-8477.
We have some new details on the shooting that happened back on March 21st on Sahara Drive near 281. Police identifying the victim as 27-year-old Rafael Redondo Navarrete. Rafael's body was found near a stairwell at an apartment complex. Residents told police that they allegedly heard gunshots going off. A trail of blood was found in the parking lot. Police say they are still investigating.
A man is facing charges after turning himself into police after hopping a curb and killing a pedestrian. Happened over the weekend. According to the arrest affidavit, 29-year-old Robert Castillo was driving a Tesla when he failed to negotiate a curb and went over a concrete island, hitting and killing a person who was walking on the sidewalk there. Both the driver and his passenger fled from the scene. Castillo is now facing failure to stop and render aid charges.
Up next, a former FDA commissioner speaking out about last year's baby formula shortage, why he says the industry is still vulnerable to issues.
And tracking a little rain in our area this evening, including a thunderstorm in Bandera County. There you can see from Bandera to Kirk County, not severe, but definitely a pocket of heavier rain. Some showers taking aim at Bexar County. We'll have a radar update for you coming up here after the break, and more rain chances to tell you about your 4-zone weather.
You're watching News 4 San Antonio.
After a nationwide baby formula shortage in 2021 into 2022, a former FDA commissioner says the industry is still vulnerable to safety problems along with supply disruptions.
In other words, the nation remains one outbreak, one tornado, flood, or cyber attack away from finding itself in a similar place to that of February 17, 2022.
Lawmakers are investigating what led to Abbott Laboratories, which produces a fifth of the nation's supply of baby formula, to shut down its largest factory in Michigan. It happened last February after 4 infants got rare bacterial infections. The ex-FDA official blames poor communications within the agency for its slow action. He says there's still no requirement for companies to report contamination at manufacturing plants. Lawmakers say the baby formula supply chain in the U.S. may not be diverse enough if one plant shutting down causes a nationwide shortage.
We owe it to parents, caregivers, and infants to get to the bottom of what happened, and most importantly, prevent it from happening again, because nothing has changed.
This is partially an FDA problem, but it is also partially a big business problem. And Republicans and Democrats can't pick and choose who to hold accountable.
The FDA says it'll inspect all manufacturers annually and improve communications.
Up next, spring is in the air, which means summer is right around the corner. Meteorologist Joe DiCarlo takes us to New Braunfels to show us what this season could have in store.
And I'm Don Harris. Don't look now, but the ladies at Our Lady of the Lake are tearing it up. We've got a really cool story straight ahead.
Back to the live desk as we continue to follow this breaking news for you on the city's east side. The police chief confirming just moments ago this was an officer-involved shooting. The police chief saying there was initial shooting between the suspect and another man where a man was shot in the leg. The suspect, the chief saying, then reportedly went to a home on South Mesquite where this scene is and positioned himself between 2 cars. And that suspect apparently started firing at police officers. According to the chief, that suspect fired 27 rounds at officers, and officers fired back. The suspect was shot. We're told that he was taken to a hospital, and that suspect is in critical condition. The chief saying moments ago that suspect is not expected to survive. Still a very active scene. We're told that that suspect is in between about 33 years old. That's what the chief said. Again, not expected to survive. He did fire rounds at the officer. Still a very active investigation as we wait to learn even more. But this is a confirmed officer-involved shooting where the suspect is not expected to make it. We're also told that the suspect has an extensive criminal history. Jonathan?
All right, Melissa, thank you for that update. Well, it is hard to believe it is almost April, and before you know it, Texas rivers will be packed with campers and tubers.
But will the drought keep rivergoers out of the water? News 4 San Antonio meteorologist Joe DiCarlo went to New Braunfels today to get a look at what the season entails.
Here in New Braunfels along the Guadalupe River, camping and tubing season has officially begun.
So whether you're an adventure seeker or just want to come and chill and relax, we've got it all for you.
That they do. You can't beat an afternoon along the scenic rivers, but lower water levels mean the water isn't flowing like in years past.
It's quite a bit lower this year.
That's because of the ongoing drought in the region. However, Shane Wolf, general manager of Rock and R River Rides, says that is not stopping the fun.
Here's the releases are set, so we really won't see anything lower than what we see now. So, I mean, we're at the bottom of the barrel to an extent, but we still have a great trip. The flows on both the Guadalupe and Comal are at a level in which that both trips are about 3 hours, which again are absolutely ideal for any customer's perspective.
And the lower flow is not stopping activities on the water.
Bump a lot more rocks, that's about it. Just got to make it through some of these slots. I mean, it's not hard, just a little bit more difficult for sure.
Until the river fills back up, all we can do is just hope for more rain.
Hoping, yeah, hoping for a wet summer for sure.
We can hope, but rest assured,
the Guadalupe will be flowing.
Reporting in New Braunfels, Joe DiCarlo, News 4 San Antonio.
According to a new study, steady friendships may be an asset to your physical health.
Yeah, the study was published in the Journal Society for Personality and Social Psychology. Researchers discovering positive social experiences impact not only a person's stress level and ability to cope, but also markers of physical health. However, they also found that social relationships, which bounce between good and bad, can often be unhelpful. When there's a lot of volatility, the negative experiences seem to have a bigger impact on a person than the positive ones.
Next on News 4's Evening Break, it's breakthrough technology to treat heart failure, how it works and how it could make a life-saving difference.